Hey guys, where did it go? My footprint. Okay, so what you guys are going to do is you're going to need a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you need to let me know, and I can get you a ruler. You have to let me know if you don't have one. You'll need it for this. So you're going to read the background. I'm not going to read all of that to you. You can read that yourself. And then you're going to go through the procedures. In part one, you're going to take measurements. So you are going to read. Once again, I'm going through this with you, but make sure you read this. Table 1, your height and shoe length to the nearest half inch. All right, so we're not saying, oh, I am 5 foot 4.5 inches. I am doing it to the nearest 0.5 inches. Okay. So you're going to put that in that box there. Graphing your measurements and looking for a relationship between foot length and height, right? You would assume, I think most people assume, and I'll ask the kids this, but most will tell me that the taller you are, the bigger the feet you have. Okay, so that's what we're going to assume. Now, it is so important that you read this because it is going to tell you step by step how to complete this graph. Okay, and if you're having trouble with that, if you've read it and you're still struggling, like obviously send me something, like I will help you out with whatever you need or try to help you understand whatever you're not understanding. But basically what you're going to do is, and you'll have to wait because we're going to get the whole class's measurements on this page that I'm getting ready to show you right here. We'll put your classmates' measurements here. All right, so I'm going to have a document that I will post here. And of course, I won't be able to put this on until later in the afternoon because this is 8th hour. This class is 8th hour for me, so I'll have to wait until when they all get this on here. All right, and if you could add your name to that group, that list, that would be amazing as well. All right, so you're going to go on there and you're going to then set up your graph that shows you the x-axis is shoe length, the y-axis is height. So then you're going to start adding dots. So on the graph that is at the very bottom of this page, you can see where it is right here. So shoe length versus height. All right, so if, I don't know, maybe I'm a 9 and my height is 62. So I would go up to 62 at the 9 and put a dot there. All right, so it's just plotting points is what you're doing at this time. You're plotting your classmates' points. So it says time, number 4 says time to plot even more points. Find the measurement data provided by your teacher. Guys, this is a lot. I know it's a lot. Every year they do it, they get through it. So what I would suggest is that as you plot this, as you graph this, you mark it out. All right, because it can get tricky if you don't do that. If you get down to 15, you plot it, and then you're like, where was I at? I can't remember where I was at. I don't know the last one I did. And it happens. I do that. So I think it's important that you mark them out as you go. Of course, it's up to you what you want to do, but that would be my suggestion. All right, so you're plotting all of those points. When, number 5 here, when you are finished, you will have dots everywhere on your graph. Okay, it'll look like a big mess. You have just constructed what is called a scatter plot. The goal of the scatter plot is not to connect all these dots, but to try to get a general idea of like what is going on in this picture. Like where are these dots scattered? What does that tell us? Okay, so that's what you're trying to do. So as you look for the relationship, you will have one of these 3 choices. A, do the scatter dots tend to fall lower and lower as you move from left to right, or is it the opposite? So is there a relationship between shoe size and a person's height? Like what is going on there? B, do the scattered dots tend to rise higher and higher as you move from left to right? Do the scatter dots tend to be random? Are they just completely random and I don't see a relationship with any of it? So in the space below right here, you're going to write a sentence telling me the relationship. Now they have helped you. If you pick A, B, or C, they've helped you with a sentence comparing the two in the relationship. All right, so let's go to number 6. There is one final step that will allow you to use your scatter plot graph to its full potential. We are going to draw a line of best fit. Guys, a line of best fit is just, and every year students struggle with this because they're like, I don't know, is this line right? Is this line right? It's not, there's not a necessarily correct way. You want this line, so if there are dots all in here, you just want the line to try to go in the middle of all those dots. Now yours may be slightly off or slightly different than the person sitting next to you, and that is okay. It's just a line of best fit. All right, there's no problem with that as long as you're trying to get it kind of in the midpoint of all your dots. Number 7, once you have that line of best fit, the line is very useful. It represents the average of all the measurements you just plotted on the graph. You can take the length of any shoe and use your line to find the average height of the person who would wear that shoe. For example, I have found an old tennis shoe along the highway and I want to return it to its owner. The shoe is 10.5 inches long. How tall is the person I should be looking for? You're going to grab your graph and you're going to try to figure that out. Okay, now you're going to answer questions 1 through 8 using your graph. So let's go look for 1 through 8. 1 through 8 right here, guys. 1 through 8 is you're going to use doing that. All right, now this, part 3, finding and using the mathematical equation. I know kids get intimidated because we see the y, m, x, v, we see slope, we see a lot of math in there, and we're like, oh no, what are we doing? All right, but it walks you through every little step, okay? So, number 1, read that. Number 2, it's telling you what each of these values mean. And it says, remember, do not panic, just follow along step by step, all right? So 3, to find your line's equation or name, you must first find its slope. So how steep it angles up or down. So the equation for slope is this. So now it's going to walk you through to find these 4 numbers. It's going to help you find your y2, y1, x2, and x1. So let's look at this. X1, Y1, and X2, Y2 are just 2 points somewhere, anywhere on your line. So you can pick anywhere on that line. Just pick a point, it doesn't matter where, and you're going to see, oh, if I go down, what is that on the x-axis? If I go across, what number would that be on my y-axis? All right, so you're using your graph to find the answer and write your answer below. So now they picked x1 is 10, x2 is 14. So they're telling you at 10, what is your y1? All right, so now find a second x and y value. The shoe is 14 inches long. How tall is the person? So you're going along your x-axis, finding 10 and going up to your line and seeing what the y should be. Same thing with this one. 14, go up to your line, go across and see what is your y at when your x is 14. Now here's an example. It's showing you exactly how to fill this in. This is how you are going to find your slope, your m. All right, number 4, to find your line's equation or name, you must next find the y-intercept. To find your line's y-intercept, you are going to use this equation right here. So for example, b equals y minus mx, so b equals, you're going to take any x and y value from your line and put them in the xy spaces of the equation. To make it simple, just use the x1 and x1, sorry guys, the x1 and y1 values. So my x1 is going to be 10, that's what I'm going to put in here. You need to go up here and see what did you find that your y was. That's what's going to be your y. You know your m, you found that out. Your slope, you found that right here in this box. So you have y, your slope, and your x, and you're going to find your y-intercept. Now then, once we do that, you can finally give your line its own equation name. The equation for a straight line is once again y equals mx plus b. To name your line, simply replace the m with whatever you came up with here in that box, m. And then plus your y-intercept. Write out your line's equation below. All right, so then you're going to try to figure, using your line's equation, they're going to give you an x to fill in, and you're going to see if you can figure this out, okay? So, for example, you're holding 9-inch shoes in your hand. How tall is the owner of these shoes? So you're going to use maybe your answer was 2.5. They're using just what they randomly got. But you're going to walk through. So now questions 9 through 13, this right here, you're using your line's equation. If you are struggling with that, if you can't get your lines equation, send me an email and I will send you a video walking through, like if you send me your data and your stuff, we can get that figured out, but you've got to let me know, okay? Because I'll need to see your intercept, so you may have to send me a picture of that if you're struggling with that part. But definitely get a hold of me and I will help you out with that. All right, so if you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me. I will gladly help you out. You guys have a great rest of your day.